Now Misa Hylton is really playing in people's faces when she has enough skeletons in her closet to fill up a damn New Orleans graveyard. God damn! Now from helping Mary J. Blige bag a 15-year-old Danny boy to dealing with Diddy and helping him hide bodies that her son Justin took out. She went from wanting to expose Diddy after her son got a DUI to now claiming that she is a victim.
All my life I had to fight.
You just can't make this type of clownery up. She went on to post and delete and referred to her son as a child.
What did you say, nigga?
Now we get it, that's her child. That's not Diddy's child, and he's not a child. That boy is grown as hell. Now in her post she said, anyone who knows me knows I'm a private person, and it pains me that I even have to post this. The harassment my son and I have been dealing with because of things implied by Gene Deal and stated in a recent Netflix documentary has been heartbreaking. The truth is, the public is being misled about me and my child. We've been dragged into something we never asked for, a cruel game built on rumors and agendas. Please take a moment before believing everything you hear. The most painful part is that this is happening because of men I once trusted to protect me, not harm me. And the saddest thing is that none of this affects the people spreading it, it only hurts me and my son. Like Gene said, we've been treated as casualties of war. With a little critical thinking, it would be easy to realize that the things being said could not possibly be true because of the results that would have come from these disparaging statements if they were in fact true. This will be a post and delete. Hashtag protect women and children. This is about Misa and Justin only. Why did this not go viral? Now I get protect women and children, but show me where's the child. Justin is grown as hell and he's out there doing all kind of stuff, including taking out somebody in the bathroom, which we're going to get into that later in the video, so make sure y'all keep watching this thing. Now it definitely seemed like the checks from Diddy cleared for Misa, because initially when her son got a DUI, she was willing to actually go out and expose Diddy, but somehow she actually had a change of heart. Now when the DUI went down, she said, act bad. I'm not protecting no one anymore, just my son. I'm not with none of that reality TV S. When is enough enough? Yeah, okay, and all the children. I love to come Jesus moment. Act bad, bad boy. I used to want to be a bad girl, chose to be a queen, tried and true. I'm not perfect, but I am intentional. The statement, a fish rots from the head down, means that, in addition to being a major contributing factor in a family or organization's success, leadership is also the root cause of its failure and demise. The truth shall set you free. I should have kept my child with me. FUCLA too. Everybody can get it. How you go from one of the greatest to ever do it to making all your money off alcohol and suing the damn alcohol company. Sell something healthy that builds people up. I'm sick of it, not mines. Everyone has to sit around for years and act like there isn't anything wrong with you. This is where the buck stops for me, 100. If anything ever happened to my son, God forbid, what is anyone going to say to me? When we all know whose fault it would be. And Christina, if you ever try to handle me again, I will go straight across your head. Stay out the way. You are a nice person. Everyone is tough until it's time to be tough. I do realize clarity and context are important. You want to do reality TV? Okay, let's be real then. Let's lay it all out, then starting from the top. Now this is actually when she had real life beef with Diddy, but all of a sudden now she's showing up to court cases acting like she's the supporting side chick. Now with her antics, it's no wonder her own child turned out to be just as rotten as she is. Now let's talk about her son and the bodies that they hid. Yes, Justin unalived somebody at a studio in LA, and his mom, Misa Hylton, made sure it was covered up. Mr. Ray, where career-ending tapes of recordings of celebrities and electronic devices with incriminating data on it were discovered in Diddy's homes in both LA and Miami by Homeland Security agents, feds are also looking into a slew of shootings that have been directly linked to Diddy. Now the crazy thing is a lot of those were swept under the rug, but just a simple Google search will verify all of my claims of his crimes. Now these are the Diddy shootings. Now make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and watch this whole entire video so that you don't miss nothing. Now Diddy has a bunch of bodies under his belt and a few survivors. Now let's talk about first the most recent shooting that occurred in a Los Angeles recording studio involving his son Justin, the devil's offspring. Now the music producer Lil Rod, who was suing Diddy, is doubling down on some daunting allegations that Diddy and his son were involved in a shooting at a Los Angeles recording studio back in 2022, as well as, of course, the allegations of harassment that's been all over the internet. Now Diddy was sued on February 26 by Rodney Lil Rod Jones, a producer on his most recent album, who alleged Combs sexually harassed, drugged, and threatened him while he traveled and lived with Combs from September 2022 to November 2023. In the initial complaint filed in U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York, Lil Rod also detailed a shooting at a writers and producers camp at Chalice Recording Studio in Los Angeles on September 12, 2022. In addition to that, he also alleges that Diddy's son, Justin, and Justin's friend, identified in the court documents as G, was also there. Now, the lawsuit alleges that Combs is part of a RICO enterprise and that he and others are involved in an ex-trafficking venture. Now, RICO enterprise is one in which people or groups act together to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, which is meant to target organized crime. Now, the complaint is the latest legal trouble for Diddy, who has been hit with a number of recent lawsuits, including multiple allegations of assault. Now, the complaint filed by Lil Rod accounts that he heard multiple gunshots after a heated conversation in a nearby bathroom at the recording studio. When the bathroom door opened, Diddy and his son walked out and Lil Rod found G lying on the restroom floor in a fetal position, holding his stomach and bleeding out his leg-hip area, the lawsuit said. Lil Rod said he helped the victim up and took him to the front of the studio where an ambulance was waiting out front for him. So far, the Los Angeles Fire Department has not responded to multiple requests for more information regarding the shooting. Now get this, Lil Rod also alleges in the suit that Diddy instructed him to lie to the police and tell them that Diddy or his son had nothing to do with the shooting and that it had occurred while G was outside the studio by a drive-by assailant. Now Lil Rod is standing by his accounts and maintained that G was not shot outside Chalice, but actually inside the bathroom. Now Chalice Recording Studio is also staying mute on the shooting, as they were possibly potentially paid off by Diddy, and they are not cooperating with releasing any surveillance tapes. Now reportedly, the studio was contacted by NBC News and they issued a questionable comment. Chalice Recording Studio is alleged to have sent an unnamed person stating the shooting occurred a half a block away from Chalice and it was the result of a robbery. They also said there are police reports corroborating this, and to please wait for facts to come out before you start contributing to the defamation of our organization. Now Chalice also said when LAPD arrived on the scene, it was immediately determined conclusively that the shooting took place some distance from the studio. Now more information in the complaint also states, citing a media report that claimed G went to the studio after he was shot. But Lil Rod's original suit indicates police were inside Chalice and witnessed the blood in the bathroom, but still went along with the bogus claim that the shooting took place outside of the studio. Now that definitely sounds corrupt. Now included in the original filing are screenshots reportedly showing the aftermath of the restroom where G was shot by either Diddy or Justin Combs. Now, Little Rod also claims that he has the clothing he wore the day of the shooting, which he says could have the potential DNA of the shooting victim. Now, the filing says Diddy and his son Justin were not at the studio when the police had arrived, and it alleges that Diddy and his son hid out and laid low in another studio while police investigated, and that they were the first ones to leave after the officers departed. Representatives for Justin Combs on February 27th, of course, denied the allegations filed in the complaint, which they call absurd and lies, and said there will be legal consequences for all defamatory statements made about the Combs family. Now, that's just like a lawyer to call everything their client did as lies. Now, it's ironic that Misa never actually brought that up. Of course, she brought everything else up, but she want to sweep this part under the rug where her son is out here like he in the damn Wild Wild West, banging people up in the damn bathroom. Now, also, guys, she was, of course, attached to Mary J way back in the day. They used to be besties. Now, recently, there's some lawsuits going on. But before that, she was actually in the room when Mary J. Blige was getting it down with the underage Danny Boy. At number 10, we start with the queen of hip-hop soul, Mary J. Blige. Known for her raw, powerful vocals and emotional depth, Blige has sung and lived through the blues, earning her a solidified place in the world of music history. But even queens face their battles, and for Mary J. Blige, the controversy wasn't far behind the accolades. So amid the triumphs and accolades, the life of Mary J. Blige has not been without its controversies. One such matter involves allegations made by Danny Boy, a singer once under the banner of Death Row Records. It was claimed that during his teenage years, he had unsettling encounters with Blige, allegations that have since sparked discussions on mentorship, influence, and the protection of young artists in the music industry. Now, Danny Boy revealed what happened following Suge Knight's infamous remark at the 1995 Source Awards. A little more than 5 minutes into his conversation with the Art of Dialogue, he described the night with Suge Knight, Mary J. Blige, and Diddy's baby mama, Misa. Now, after the award event, Danny Boy was in a hotel room alongside his godbrother when Suge invited him to his hotel suite. The singer stated that Suge had a table full of girls in his suite, including Misa, Mary J. Blige, and Devontae Swing's baby mama. He mentioned that everyone was hanging out and drinking before returning to his room. Now, later, he stated that Suge invited him back to his room and said, "Old girl want to see you." When Danny Boy returned to Suge's room, he was surprised to see only the R&B legend and Misa there. He said, "I get up there to the room. Suge is in his room. Misa is sitting in the bed with a sheet wrapped around her, and Mary is sitting on the couch. So I know the girl he in the bed with don't want me. So he closed the door and I sit down and I start talking to Mary." Danny Boy said that while hanging out in the hotel suite, he and Mary further placed food and drink orders. He claimed that once Mary was startled by a knock on the door, believing it to be her ex-boyfriend Casey from Casey and JoJo and Jodeci. She began to rest her head on his lap, and after a few more hours of hanging out, the two moved to another bedroom in the hotel. Danny Boy claimed that after that night, Mary J. Blige attempted to seduce him in the bedroom and began to arrange for him to go to New York for a visit. He said, "That's why I was kind of confused when I heard Kurt Cobain saying that Mary was Pac's girl, cause at that time, she was my girl," Danny Boy asserted. Interestingly, he was only 16 years old at the time. He said, "At that time, I'm 15 to 16 years old, and she flying me in to see her." Now, given that Mary J is 50 years old, her rumored affair with Danny Boy would have occurred when she was around the age of 24 years old. Danny Boy admitted that he and Mary had relations after explaining their subsequent encounters. So Misa Hylton is definitely tied to some nefarious things. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about it, man, about her actually playing victim and also being tied to murders and also underage stuff. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this, man. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on these videos. If y'all haven't checked out my previous posts, make sure y'all check out my previous posts as well. And I will peep y'all on the next one. Holla. Can't get enough? Click on this screen to watch even more great content. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and you can also catch my clips on my other channel, The Lionel B Show. And you can stream my audio on the go on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other major podcast platforms.